Iran claims to have struck the USS Abraham Lincoln, rendering the vessel inoperable and forcing it to return to port. The USS Gerald R. Ford experienced a fire. The cause of the fire was not combat related, just like the U.S. fighter jets were shot out of the sky, not by Iran, but by friendly fire, all three of them. No KC-135 was shot out of the sky in Iraq. It just fell to the ground, despite the fact that we have footage of it from Iraqi militia groups in giant clumps of fire as it plunges to the middle of the Iraqi desert in the middle of the night. Things are not going so well for the Navy personnel on board the two U.S. carrier strike groups in the region. They're so far away from Iran, yet they have so many problems. What is going on here? I don't know. What I do know for certain is that if Trump really has any hope that, I don't know, the U.S. Navy will escort ships through the Strait of Hormuz, I hope he can tell it to the faces of the U.S. Navy personnel on board these aircraft carriers right now. Because as of right now, it seems like, and I could be totally wrong about this, but it seems like they may be suffering a bit more than CENTCOM is leading us all on to believe. What do I mean by that? Despite the fact that they're so far away from the coastline of Iran, what do I mean by that? Well, let's take a look, okay? For starters, the U.S. has deployed a third Navy aircraft carrier strike group to join the war on Iran. The USS George H.W. Bush is expected to head toward the eastern Mediterranean, joining two other U.S. carrier strike groups already in the region. Well, I mean, for starters, what do you need another U.S. carrier strike group for in the region if everything is going so well with the first two? Well, things are not going so well with the first two. We know now the USS Gerald R. Ford experienced a fire. The cause of the fire was not combat related and is contained, of course, not combat related. Just like the U.S. fighter jets were shot out of the sky, not by Iran, but by friendly fire, all three of them. And, no KC-135 was shot out of the sky in Iraq. It just fell to the ground, despite the fact that we have footage of it from Iraqi militia groups in giant clumps of fire as it plunges to the middle of the Iraqi desert in the middle of the night. Oh, yeah, sure. I'm sure that there was just like a random fire. Two sailors currently receiving medical treatment for injuries, by the way. So let me get this straight. CENTCOM expects all of us to believe, and by the way, this is the official narrative regarding this story on the USS Gerald R. Ford. They said that this was a laundry fire. I'm dead serious. Like something like there's like too much lint buildup in the dryer. You know when you like use a dryer to dry your clothes and you have to pull out that little lint thing and you like wipe all the fuzzies off? They're saying that caused a major fire on the USS Gerald R. Ford, and two of the sailors are injured now and being hospitalized, I guess, to address their wounds. That's what they want you to believe. That not that like something went wrong, not that there was like a drone attack. Next they're going to tell us that some of these Navy personnel went for a little swim and got swallowed by the Loch Ness Monster in the middle of the Persian Gulf or something like that. I mean, yeah, the lint, you guys, the lint is, we're not getting hurt by Iran. It's the lint. It's the lint in the dryers. Laundry is a very dangerous operation. Epstein Fury. The fire on the USS Gerald R. Ford was allegedly started deliberately by fearful U.S. soldiers. This is the same crew that was caught stuffing shirts down toilets to clog the plumbing system days before the Iran war began. Now, that is a possibility. Could be mutiny. We do know for a fact we have like a bunch of sources who went on the record saying that sailors were stuffing their shirts and other objects down in the toilets to clog the plumbing and sewage system of the USS Gerald R. Ford before they arrived for their final, hoorah, to take part in Operation Epstein Fury. and they had like a slight delay. They had to go dock in Greece or something for 2 days before they went back. But there's still plumbing issues on the USS Gerald R. Ford. But, you know, I guess it could be something like that. It could be a mutiny. According to Al Mayadeen, that's what's going on. They said that it was a mutiny and that the fire was started on purpose to try and force the ship to go back to dock. Very well could be. I'm not saying that is not happening here. That could have been what happened, but I'm just saying I don't really know if I believe that because we're also getting reports like this. Iran claims to have struck the USS Abraham Lincoln, the other carrier strike group in the region, rendering the vessel inoperable and forcing it to return to port. So, hey, maybe there actually is a mutiny going on the USS Gerald R. Ford. I know for a fact that those soldiers, or those sailors on the Gerald R. Ford, they were deployed I think they were deployed all the way back in Yemen a year ago, and then they were deployed in Venezuela, and now they've been deployed here, and they haven't been transferred out. They haven't been changed out. What I know for certain is that it's not just like a random fire that started from like lint rolls in the laundry. But also, Iran claims to have struck the Abraham Lincoln, rendering the vessel inoperable and forcing it to return to port. Let's see here. So we know for a fact that the USS Abraham Lincoln has moved. It is no longer in the battlefield. And there is indication that is what actually happened after an Iranian vessel sailed too closely to the USS Abraham Lincoln carrier, which has been operating in the Arabian Sea in support of the war against Iran. A U.S. Navy vessel attempted to fire on the Iranian one using its Mark 45 gun mounted on the forward deck, but they missed multiple times. A helicopter equipped with Hellfire missiles was launched and hit the Iranian vessel with 2 of the missiles. Still awaiting, I guess, further confirmation. There's a lot of vagueness to what the story actually was about, but the IRGC says it targeted and struck the USS Abraham Lincoln aircraft carrier with missiles and drones. Says it's retreating. CBS says the aircraft carrier tried to shoot at an IRGC vessel nearby, but missed several times, forcing it to send a helicopter towards it. We'll have to wait for more updates. That's for sure. China is also tracking the USS Tripoli 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit heading to the Gulf region with 3,000 Marines. This was the MEU transiting the Philippine Sea. It should take them another 7 days to reach the Arabian Sea. This is likely posturing because you need way more than 3,000 Marines to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. For that to happen, a major ground campaign is needed to create a large buffer zone along the entire southern coast of Iran. So they're sending some in, they're pulling some away. All in all, this looks like a complete shit show. And even still, they're not even anywhere near close to having their warships directly in the vicinity of Iranian territory, close enough to do any sort of good for U.S. cargo ships or oil tankers trying to sail through the Strait of Hormuz, because they know if they did do that, it would be like 4th of July on board the USS Abraham Lincoln and Gerald R. Ford, courtesy of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps and the Iranian Navy. It would not be good in any way, shape, or form. Before you leave, I want to say thank you for the support, because after 2 years of being banned, we are finally back home on YouTube. So be sure to subscribe to our channel and also join as a member on our channel using the link at the top of the description. I rely on the generous support of viewers like yourself to get the truth out to as many people as possible. You can also support the show on Locals or Give Sin Go. The mainstream media and the powers that be are never going to stop attacking us for bringing the truth to as many people as we do. Thank you so much for your support.